for context, right?
Yeah.
Anytime a new category is created within the academy, a member of the academy has to write a proposal. You have to get signatories that agree that this is going to be a good category, and then when you put the proposal forward, you actually have to then prove that it's going to be what they call a healthy category.
Like it's like
Right.
Emmanuel is my guy. If I DM Emmanuel and I say, "Yo, this artist, though, I beg, may we vote for him." Like, is Emmanuel gonna go report me to the Grammys and say, like,
Did they really use Nigerians, or did we just talk about it so much to the point that it became annoying?
Thank you, an artist.
You're using us for promo.
You're
using Nigerians for promo.
to do free promo for
Grammys.
Grammys.
Free promo.
Blah,
You're
blah,
just
blah.
using us and dumping us.
Everybody.
What the heck?
What the heck?
Everybody will be really, really fine.
All right, what's good, beautiful people? It's your boy Emmanuel, and I'm here with
Bella. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back to ATTW Space. Yeah, man, an open forum for music conversations from fans, from professionals. A lovely episode is ahead of you guys, and I honestly, Bella, I don't know about you, but this was personally my favorite space that we've ever had yet, like ever. Like, this is personally my favorite because I'll take pride in it. Like, I don't think any platform within the AFROBEATS community, or at least anywhere really, within like covering music and how they discuss music, went to the lens as much as we did. I think on this particular space, we got into the depth of the Grammy process.
The Grammys.
We had people in the academy that actually even proposed the categories that we're talking about. So we got first-hand information, and we were able to ask questions from them. So I think it's a very like unique episode, at least I believe, and we're still able to have fun at the same time, even though it felt like very academic. We were like getting to hear, oh, so this is the process, this is this and that, but it was still fun. We're still able to have a good time, still able to share our hot takes and different opinions. But anyway, how did you find that episode?
I do not share the same sentiments of it being my favorite space.
Because you've had too many to even let it be your favorite.
No. But it's up there.
Yeah, it has to be. It's number one for me. It's number one.
It's not my favorite, but it's up there. It's not my favorite. It's up there. I think the opportunity to hear. Actually, you know what's so funny is that like I think there was only one award that I really cared about.
Right.
But besides that one award, I was fine with whatever the results were. And I think it was very interesting to see people's reactions, especially Nigerians, knowing that like no Nigerian took home an award, which honestly, maybe sometimes we just need zero. Maybe we need to rest and calm down. It was very interesting to hear like the process, the journey, the details, all of these different things. So I think that was something that was a big part of it. And I think ultimately it is clear that Afrobeats is carving its way into the system.
Yep.
And it's trying to figure out, like, first of all, how long are we here for? And what does that space look like? So
yeah, it was good.
It's exciting.
It's a healthy conversation. It got heated at some point, of course, but
obviously, I think every conversation we have always gets heated.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's what makes it interesting. Is that a lot of the time people share their opinions, but it does not warrant agreement.
Yeah.
So it's like you share your opinion, I might disagree, I might agree, we move forward.
The objective isn't always to make somebody else or make everybody agree on a particular topic. It's just to at least share every perspective possible on the topic so that we can actually get at least we have all the information on the table. It's up to you to make up your decision coming out of the conversation, you know? So yeah, it was good. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I loved it, even though Belema still doesn't rate it as much. But
I didn't say that. I just said, you said favorite.
No, okay. To be fair, yes, I was making a list in my head, and this was number one. But anyway, you leave you guys to enjoy the episode, and we'll be back to say bye. All right.
Thank
On
you.
that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's address the, let's say the elephant in the room, or what? I don't know, man. Let's get to the Grammy conversation, guys. Yeah, the Grammys happened last night on Sunday. And it was intense seeing the premiere ceremony, because that's where the cocoa was, for at least for this space. So essentially, first off, like, observing protocols. Shout out to Tyla, and big congrats for her win. As predicted by myself, at least. I'm just flashing it back to our predictions conversation. Yes, the Tyla Water one was pretty obvious, and we saw, some of us saw it coming, of course. And yeah, congratulations to her for that particular award. We'll get into, I don't know if I want to open up with that discussion, because I think there's layers to that particular category. We'll get into other categories, but there's so many layers around that category. This is the first time, I'll open up basically. This is the first time that this category has ever been announced and presented. And the nominees that we got were, at least for a Nigerian standpoint, we had 4 Nigerians out of 5 nominated for that category for an African Music Performance Award. For me, that says a lot. Okay. But then again, the fact that Water walked away as the winner, being the South African presence in the list, obviously goes to show where they're heading, or what they're prioritizing for that category. It just indicated, at least that it sets a precedent now that commercial success is definitely playing some form of factor into it. Needless to say that Water is the biggest record on that list, at least within the American context, by a long mile. I mean, this girl had people pouring water on themselves all over the place on daytime TV as well. Like, it was insane. Like, this was a whole thing. So shout out to Tyla and Water Bottle, because yeah, they definitely made a run. But yeah, I think so I'll open the floor to you guys, man. How is everyone feeling about the African Music Performance category?
Okay. Hold on. So just hold on one second. I would like to start by saying shout out to Tyla, because it's good that she won. Mm-hmm. I think it is very important that she won, and I think it is perfect that she won. I think what this brings us to is a moment of rest and peace in the Nigerian music community. You people can stop shouting about Burna Boy versus Davido, and we can all rest in Jesus' name. It's no longer talk of somebody had to make Lion King music, and another person now went and made Lion King music, and then Lion King music was not Lion King, but one person's one was Lion King more than the other one. We are the world, we are the children. Everybody will be all right. Shout out to Tyla. The acceptance speech was beautiful. I think one of the cutest things I saw was a video of her sister's reaction. Her sister was like, I think it was either Snapchat.
What the heck?
Yeah, she was like, what the heck? And then it was very funny, because
she now went on to say, what
Tyla
the
went
heck,
on
too.
stage and literally said, what the heck? And I was like, y'all are actually sisters. But I thought it was very cute. I appreciated it. Yeah. Also, before you people start talking, if anybody comes to this space and opens their mouth and says, they were playing Water by Fela, they were not playing Water
that
by
annoyed
Tyla,
me.
I will immediately mute your mic. I don't even want to hear your explanation. No. I will mute your mic. When they do the award, they played the instrumentals for a song that is popular historically in that category. So if you come here and you talk about Fela Water, you will immediately move out, because, quite frankly, do your research. Thank you very much. That's all.
Congrats, the Grammys don't get us. They don't understand us, Belema. They do not understand us.
I was shouting, and I was just like, why are you shouting?
They don't get. We should cancel the Grammys, Belema. Like, this is.
Don't be angry.
Insane.
It's beautiful. Like, I know that everybody said that
the setup was given very much. You took advantage of Nigerian artists.
You're using
brought them-
us for promo.
brought them
You're using Nigerians to promo.
to do free promo for Grammys.
Free promo.
blah,
You're
blah,
just
blah.
using us and dumping us.
Everybody.
What the heck?
Everybody,
What the heck?
everybody will be really, really fine.
No, sorry guys.
say
Do you see why I say that that guy annoys me? Sorry. I know I've said it many times, but you guys
Wait, don't say that guy.
I would like to let you know that's a personal opinion.
Let's be cordial.
That's a personal opinion. But I would just like to say that, like,
Hey,
while I think Shopsy is a great like part of the culture, I think it is very important. No, he's a great part of the culture. He's a staple. I think it is very important to a lot of times learn to not really talk from an emotional space, but from a factual space. And so all of that is the warning to say, if you come here and mention Fela Water, I will actually like. No.
To be fair, he has rescinded his comments. Basically, he has basically like, okay, guys, we've calmed down. We were kind of we're in our feelings when we're making those statements, and he has made a post trying to like back away from that statement that he had on the live. But anyway, yes, Shala, you want to say something?
I want to ask you a question, Amana. You mentioned something about Tyla winning because of maybe the commercial success that Water had. Do you think that was the basis why she won ahead of the other songs in that category?
I think again, this is a new category, and every category has whichever premise or whichever like factors that they use in voting. The obvious reason here is the name recognition of that song to every Academy member is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer in terms of what they are going in there with, and in actuality, it's actually a good song too. So the fact that it's supporting, and that's all subjective as well. Obviously, people will say they don't like the song, that's not a good song, it's a trash record. That's all subjective. To the Academy, a lot of them found the song good enough and commercially viable, at least strong enough to be the winner of that particular category. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a precedent to moving forward for that category to say that, okay, this is kind of playing a factor. I don't know if it's all of the factor here, but it's very, very obvious that it was a huge factor, bro. This was the highest charting song on that list, and it was still very much a good song as well. So those things are supporting it.
Fair enough. I don't think it had anything to do with the commercial success though. But again, this is the first time that we're seeing this category, so I don't think we can make that assumption just yet.
It's an indication. It's an indication, right? For in terms of who has a stronger campaign, for that particular category, right? It's easier. It's easier to campaign a very popping song. Like literally at the time where they were handing their votes at that time, like water was still being watering, like it was still watering everywhere, like it was still a very prominent song. So the campaign was just stronger. It was just more convincing for a lot of people voting there to go with it. It just feels like that. And obviously the commercial viability I think it plays a role here, especially because the distance between that song and every other song is pretty significant.
Okay, my name is Michael.
Okay, yes, got it.
Yeah, so
welcome to Space.
Just to answer the question, even from the nominations, they didn't like basically nominate for quality or anything. They went for the biggest African records in America time frame. If you look, if you look at the nomination, they put City Boys, they put Unavailable. Rush was probably one of the most streamed African songs in the past year as well. So you just know that they already signified what they were going for. So it wasn't really a surprise that Water won. It was basically a battle of popularity. For the other categories, we don't know what it is.
It's still blurry across the board.
Idea. Yeah. So I feel like this year, more Nigerian artists are just going to go for the Billboard 100. And I feel like now...
No, I really like that explanation. That explains that win for sure.
But I think that everybody being like Grammy nominated and all, it's a win. Like, see, not everybody actually like ends up like winning. Like,
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
It's a way for you to even get DSF. So, and like, how many Grammys does Drake have? Like please, everybody should stop being like entitled to this thing.
And on that note, it's only 3 nominations that Davido missed out on. It's only 3, man. It's not the end of the world for him. Like, it's...
See, Travis Scott was destroying guitar yesterday, and he was shouting 10 nominations, all gone. And you are saying lobby, someone that is even in their presence, in their front, is still trying to lobby his own. So everybody's fighting.
Bro, Nas just got his first one after like 17 nominations before that. Nicki Minaj hasn't even smelt one. They tried to give us some yesterday, but they took him back.
No, that one was
I think Nicki has 11 nominations.
Way more than that. It has to be more than that.
No, it's 11 nominations.
Is it?
Nicki Minaj has 11 nominations. Okay. But Killer Mike, also, first of all, somebody yesterday said something about how they don't know who Killer Mike is. Your life must be very sad.
No, I mean, to be... I'm
sorry. You don't know who Killer Mike is?
I don't expect everybody to know. I don't expect everybody to know Killer Mike, to be fair. Some people don't know Run the Jewels. If you don't know Run the Jewels, you don't know Killer Mike for sure. Like, it's obviously it shows the disparity between commercial rap and non-commercial, pretty much, at the end of the day. That's all it is.
I also think that category is definitely based on commercial success, and it's based on commercial success because of how, number one, how new the category is, but also the fact that we have a lot of lazy people in the Record Academy, in my opinion.
Sorry to like cut into what you're saying, but I wanted to answer one of your questions real fast, because I think that, especially because this is the first award, a lot of people are very much confusing and trying to explain what they have witnessed. So it's not so much that the category is a commercial success category. What happened is that the person that happened to win was commercially successful. I'll give you the reason for saying this. Grammys literally describes the award as an award that recognizes recordings that utilize unique local expressions from across the African continent, highlighting regional melodic, harmonic, and rhythmic musical traditions. It is to be clear that this is not limited to African popular music genres, aka Afropop or whatever you want to call it. So it is very important that people.
They're supposed to say that.
It's not about them.
They're supposed to say
that.
So, at the point of this conversation is a perfect time for Gracey to step in. For context, as Belema's trying to get her up, Gracey is one of the many Academy members from Africa, and it's like she's Nigerian, of course, but yeah, she is one of the people that actually advocated for this category to even exist in the first place. So big shout out to her, and everyone that supported her proposals, that is really making efforts, because this is a big deal. Like, it's not a small feat to have a category on the biggest platform for celebrating music, to have an African a category dedicated to African artists. So big shout out to her and everyone that supported that. And we'll get more context about the category as well, and a lot more as to the results and how it panned out, and seeing everyone's thoughts on that, seeing her thoughts on that.
But hold on one second. I'm gonna try and get her back. In the meantime, I was able to post one of the things that she did, which was speaking to Rolling Stone about the existence of the category altogether. Okay. And so I think it's very important to speak on the fact that being a co-author, right, means that you're the one that is bringing the proposal of what you expect this category to actually consider, right?
Yeah.
So. And I think that's my thing, is that I want us to be very sure when we say things. So if you're saying, oh, this category is a commercial success category, then let it be clear that that is a commercial success.
Yes,
right?
But, yeah.
Because if you're saying that and then you're like, okay, so all my faves need to make commercially successful albums or songs, then
yeah, but it's one thing to have the, like, at least maybe Gracey will come and explain it further for us actually, because before Gracey speaks, I think I really very much align with what Naye was basically explaining. It's a case of, yes, on the books, of course they're going to have a very unbiased or on, like, it has to appear as a fair shot for every. I think it would be crazy if they said, okay, only popular music is making it up here and it's going to be that particular category or these specific genres, these specific countries. I think it's going to look terrible upon face value that, okay, they're not opening this category. And I actually thought it was a safer route by even naming the title of the category African music, as opposed to, like, say, just specifically like Afrobeats category. Like, that's it obviously it takes a lot of people out of the conversation immediately, right? So it's very open-ended, and upon being open-ended, I think you're going to, it's just a matter of proximity. All right, a lot of these artists that are up here they have foot on ground on the American space. A lot of these artists a lot of these songs are making impressions within the American space. It's an American award, so that it's almost like saying, yeah, like, of course it's going to be the commercially successful ones, because in a lot of ways the songs that make impressions in the US would mostly be commercially successful, right? So it's like, I get the textbook definition, which I think is the way to go, but upon face value, once you actually see how it's going to operate, at least from what we've seen transpired with the first time the category has been called, it appears that, okay, the songs that are in close proximity to the US market are the ones that are getting the looks, basically. And I think that's, like, it doesn't have to be spelt on the books to say that. I just think it's like, okay, it's one of those things that you just know, you know. But yes, I say that to say Gracey is up here to give us more insights on the category. Appreciate you for taking your time up in LA
hey
to
guys,
speak to us.
I'm so sorry. I was having internet issues, but I'm here, and I'm online.
No problem. Thank you so much for being up here. We really appreciate and value your voice on this conversation. I think it's exactly perfect timing for the point of the conversation now, because we're trying to get more understanding of the category that you were a co-author for in terms of proposing. And by the way, I don't think I've even said it to you personally, but honestly, that was a huge feat, and congratulations on actually getting that across the board and everyone that was able to do that for you. So big shout out to you.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. So just for context, right?
Yeah.
Anytime a new category is created within the Academy, a member of the Academy has to write a proposal. You have to get signatories that agree that this is going to be a good category. And then when you put the proposal forward, you actually have to then prove that it's going to be what they call a healthy category. So a healthy category looks like 100 submissions or more each year. So my role within authoring the proposal was to basically prove to the Academy that not only do we have 100 new year, but we actually have 100 new releases every month. Aside from that, I also had to give them context as to, like, why they might not see the numbers on Spotify or Apple Music as per data, as per Audiomack, as per all the things that everyone on this space is fully aware of. Then when it came to actually defining whether it would be Best Afrobeats Award or Best African Music Award, like you said, we did a few focus groups. We did reach out to members of the Academy, so people like Jules, people like Bankudi, people like Don Jazzy, and other members, to say, okay, what do you think would be best? What route would be best? Just because people like the BET Awards have done Best Afrobeats, or the American Music Awards have done Best Afrobeats. I was of the opinion that we wanted to be more inclusive, because Afrobeats, fusion, Afro trap. What is Afrobeats? Is it Niger pop? Does Amapiano count as Afrobeats, etc.?
Yeah.
And so when we did the couple of people, most people were of the opinion that African music would be the route to go down. Then once the board approved that it could be an award, this decision was made in April. The announcement then took place, I believe, June. And then submissions for the awards were up until August 31st. And then myself and the screening committee actually was on Zoom for about 6 hours reviewing all of the submissions. And so when we talk about what classifies as an African song, there's actually like a criteria in terms of percentage. So there are some songs that were submitted that didn't make the cut because maybe they had an American feature or the production itself was too Yankee, and so it didn't meet the 51% criteria that we have for it to be quote unquote African. And that criteria looks like percussion, it looks like cadence, it looks like language, it looks at a lot of things. And other members on the screening committee, again, it's very confidential, so I can't drop names, but they're all people that are part of the community that understand the music. So that's that. Then as for Tyla winning, obviously a lot of people were super bummed out that it wasn't David and it wasn't Burna. For context, in the best global album category, the artist that did win hadn't released music in 45 years. So that one was always going to be a bit tricky because there's a novelty and a sentiment around that project specifically. But as for Tyla, I think you guys have mentioned, she's racially ambiguous, she's super pretty, the song was really, really viral.
Gracey, not racially ambiguous.
I mean, you all know that she's Indian? Did anybody know that? No. Okay, cool. But also don't forget, right, the Academy is 26,000 people. They're voting for 92 categories.
Right.
They're going to go to names that they know, or they're going to speak to their peers, or they're going to speak to their children. And yes, Unavailable was everywhere. Water was also everywhere. It was just kind of the luck of the draw. And it's kind of hard to see which way 26,000 people are going to go. But yeah, that is my ramble. I'm done. I think I answered all the questions.
Honestly, I think you nailed everything.
Sorry, I have a question for Gracey. So I wanted to ask, you said something about, is it 26,000 people that vote, or is it?
Yes, it's 26,000.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is based on popular vote then?
Yes. We've established this.
All this time, I swear to you, all this time I've been thinking that it's 15 people in a room critically analysing word for word of the lyrics. Like, I didn't know it was based on popular vote. In that case, then the Grammys is a popular vote.
Well, it's not just 26,000 random people.
Yeah, it's 20,000 people in the.
They are music professionals.
I mean, when you say popular vote, right? And I think this is what is important to note is that when people talk about popular vote, like I'm trying to think which one would be a good award show to put to that. So Billboard uses the Billboard chart.
I feel like the Choice Awards.
Yeah, the viewer choice is literally spelled there. Viewer choice.
Hold on. The American Music Awards or the Video Music Awards.
Music Awards.
Those ones are considered more of what they have more categories where it's popular vote, where it's like actually fans that are voting, right? As opposed to this where it's a recording academy that's voting. So, Nae, if you're not a member of the academy, you're not voting.
How do I sign up, Gracey?
Nae.
Gracey actually has a thought about that.
That's what
So, in terms of becoming an Academy member, I've done a thread on this actually last week, so you can check it out. But basically, to become a voting member of the Academy, you need two people in music to recommend you. They can be members or non-members. Then you have to create your profile and basically evidence your work in music. The barometer is about 5 to 7 years. So you need links, not just the stuff that you've done, but of platforms writing about you, just so that, you're not chatting shit.
I have to use it as reference.
Right. And each Grammy member can only nominate 2 people, so my nominations have gone out already for the year. Apologies. And you have to do it before the 1st of March every year, and then it resets. Your profile was then reviewed between March and June. You then hear from the Academy in June whether you've been successful or not. At that point, you then have to pay $100. Sorry, it's gone up $150 for the year, or you can pay for 5 years up front. And then only Say that again, please.
Does it come with free entry to the Grammys?
No, the Grammy prices are $650 for bronze, $1,000 for silver.
I have a question about.
Go ahead,
sorry, Benema. I have a question just about. I think the conversation has been bouncing back and forth about popularity and all the different, I guess, categories that have been introduced. Which ones, if you're allowed to say, are like fueled by, I guess, popularity when being shortlisted to be a nomination, and which ones is what it is?
So in general, the rule of thumb with the Grammys is you can canvass for votes. They call it FYC. It's called for your consideration. So you can go to other members and say, hey, you may have never heard of me, but I'm an Afro artist and I've been submitted for this category, da 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 da. So when it comes to like popular vote, everybody can ask other people to vote for them. That's one. Two, because it's a community-based organization, everything is going to be based on quote-unquote popular vote because you're requiring people to vote for you. And then the last part is, for each category, there are specialist people that are screening. So not just anyone will get in, but also every song can be submitted to every category. It's down to the committee to determine whether it fits the criteria. So when people say, oh, they've created this African category and they're putting us in a box, that means we can't go for best music or, sorry, best song or best album, that's incorrect. You can apply to every category you feel you're eligible for. It's down to the screening committee to say whether you meet the criteria or not.
That means, Calm Down by Rema. Do you think that it wouldn't have been eligible for this category then, based on your criteria? Featuring Selena Gomez.
Good question.
Great
because
question.
Everyone yesterday was saying that, oh my gosh, Calm Down would have won then.
So with Rema and Calm Down, if you guys remember, they actually submitted last year, which is why they couldn't resubmit for this year. It just so happened that the song blew up after the submission. So that's one. But two, given that the percussion and Rema's part is still Afro, I think it would have passed the 51% because Selena's part is just the second verse and a couple ad-libs in the chorus.
Right.
So I think it would have met the criteria.
Okay. Which actually brings me to a question that when I was working on a video regarding the nominations, it was kind of thrown up in the air, but I was looking for articles to kind of verify it. But you can help me verify this. So if you have a song that you did not submit in the eligible window, like say in Iris case now for Rush dropped in the window before, but since she didn't submit that song, she was able to apply for the next window with that same song. Is that possible? And is there apparently it was a 2-year window for that? Is that true, or is that?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So basically, if you have technically you have to submit in a year of review. However, if you miss it and you haven't submitted, then you get a year of grace, which is how Rush was able to get in.
Got it. So it's a year of grace after the year of review.
Exactly that, yeah.
Got it.
Sorry, a year of grace before the year of review.
Before.
So she missed it because she was before the 12 months, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, got it. Makes sense.
Gracey, I have one question for you that I think is my biggest thing in all of this. And thank you so much for answering all the questions. But I think, at least for people that understand how it works after the FYC, after the nominations come out, right? It's very much the nominations are now out, and this is when you start pitching and trying to get people to essentially push you forward as the number one choice. But I think my question is about before the nominations come out. And so you mentioned that, obviously, it's essentially, you mentioned that for the African one, there was, a Zoom call that was hours long, and people were picking, and you had to be above 51% of this, and you had to fit this criteria and all of that. So I guess my question in that case was that when that was, because I know everything that happens after the nominations is based on popularity across the academy. Everything that happens before the nominations, is that also based on popularity? I know, you're not, I don't expect you to mention any names. I don't want that. But how many people are these people that are picking these nominations? If I submitted for best album, how many people are in this group of people that are saying, oh, you're not?
The committee, basically. Yeah.
So the committee size is usually 15 to 20 people, and in the committee you have people that are execs in labels, you have radio hosts, you have A&Rs, you have it's a diverse bunch. You don't have the same committee for each category. I mean, there's 90 something awards, so there's no way that the same group of people could do each. The 6 hours that I referred to was obviously just for the the Best African Performance Act. Bearing in mind, the process is you become a member, you submit, We then screen it to determine whether you fit the criteria. Then it goes to nomination. Um, sorry. Then it goes to another round of screening to determine the smaller pool, and then that's when you get the top 5, and then that's when it goes to the 26,000 people. So it's up until that very last level that it becomes a quote unquote popular vote. And I guess Emmanuel mentioned earlier that it is an American award, so it's obvious that the voters are American and they're voting from an American lens. The other thing that hasn't been said though, and I think we kind of touched on it briefly when we were talking about Billboard, is that it's not supposed to be in light of charts, metrics. It's supposed to be impact or whatever the definition for that category is. So yeah, hopefully that's helped.
Yeah. And I think that's what my thing was, and where my focus was not so much after the nominations. It's about what happened before you got nominated, because it's like those are the people that are picking the nominees, and so it's like, were they picking nominees based on who's popular, where they're from, or were they picking nominees based on, like you said, impact? And it's about impact, not necessarily Billboard.
Right, which is why when people were saying, okay, 4 out of the 5 songs were from Nigerian artists, impact wise it made sense, right? Other people like, okay, where was Ghana, where was Francophone Africa, where was more of South Africa, East Africa? Unfortunately, if we're looking at impact, and I know it's crazy to say, okay, we're looking at impact, but we're not looking at numbers, because sometimes you measure impact by numbers. I don't think there was a song, unless you guys can disagree with me, I don't think there was another song out of those 5 that we would have swapped in or swapped out.
Sugar Cane.
I think Sugar Cane was the year before, for a year of this year.
No, they had a remix.
That song is old.
They had a remix with
Other people said
but...
Terminator as well, King Promise.
Yeah.
But again, even if he was in the mix, like, would he have beaten any of the songs that... It's debatable.
Let's be real.
Anyway, I'm done. Don't get me in trouble.
Yeah,
no.
Thank you
so much, Gracey. Appreciate your time. And,
bye. Have fun.
Thank you so much. See you.
Yes, thank you.
I won't be surprised if all those South African songs come in next year, though. You know, the one that...
Okay, so...
And I think that's what... And
right. So Belema, you see the context now.
Yeah, according to... From what she said, to add context to what she said, all 26,000 people don't vote in all.
Yes, not everybody. They break them down.
According to the Grammy rules,
yeah,
you can check on the website. Every member are allowed to vote in just
the
14 categories.
Yeah.
10 categories of specialty and the 4 main categories. That is the album, record, and song, and the other one. So it's just 14 categories, not all 86. I think she was rushing, that's why she didn't cover it, but it's just 14 categories. They will choose any 10 of their choice, and the main 4 itself. That's just it.
Right. So I'm just reading off of the Grammy website again for the final voting category. So after nominations have been determined and announced, the Academy voting members vote in up to 10 categories across up to 3 fields in the genre fields plus. In the genre fields plus the 4 categories of the general field to determine the winners, right? So to ensure the quality of voting, members are directed to vote only in those fields in which they are pairs of the nominees. So it's kind of like they are like affiliates for certain categories, right? So so not just everybody is thrown at every single category.
They will submit
of everyone that was snubbed, of every Nigerian that was snubbed yesterday, the person that still pain me the most is Blessing Offor.
Blessing Offor was good.
His story was, if anyone that
his story is beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, it's very, because
he was born blind.
And the winner of that category, it's not even a gospel music. I don't know what
No, it is gospel. It's contemporary gospel. It's literally definition.
No, but who won? Was it Lecrae?
So there was one category that Lecrae won. There was another one that
no, it's not Lecrae. It's one of that
Tied to Bet.
Tied to Bet. Okay, so because I know because Blessing Offor was up for 2 nominations or 3 nominations.
It was 2.
2 nominations, and I know one of them he was against Lecrae.
Yes, exactly. So Lecrae won that one he was up against, which was contemporary Christian. Contemporary Christian. Okay, you know what contemporary means?
Do we have a gospel do we have a gospel category in the Eddies? No.
I think no. There is it's not called gospel. It's not called gospel. It's called inspirational.
What they have in the headies, and somebody
it's
can
inspirational, something inspirational. It's vague.
They have an inspirational category in the headies.
I think I saw somewhere that people were talking about people have been talking about Davido a lot. So back to the issue of why perhaps Davido maybe wasn't able to canvas as much as Tyla. I think they're both on the same label, if I'm not mistaken. So
Sony, yeah, they're affiliated with Sony.
Yeah, so they would have had to split. Do you know how hard they would have had to pick? Within, like,
they would have to make a tough decision.
They would have had to pick who to back. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? And just that's even harder. Like, your labels having to. I mean, they're not going to openly do that, but on the back end, they're going to have to like make a decision as to who to push, who to canvas for.
Or they might be going to the premise of who is more likely. So that's where we're going to put the energy towards.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, she's new. Gracey, you know what? I love the honesty when Gracey talked about the dynamics, the colorism, many things. Her being a woman, I know it's hard.
Yep.
Listen, it is very hard to be a woman in the industry. I am one of the one people. Like, I just did a report called "Women in Music." It's basically called A Seat at the Table. Go check it out. But it's hard to be a woman in music.
However, please pin that.
However, because it's hard right now, there's this, like, I guess we're almost overcorrecting, or we're correcting that, and we're giving women a seat at the table. So maybe that's also a signaling type of thing. So there's many issues. If we sit here and I really love that she talks about the whole idea of it's Tyla. She looks beautiful. Like, come on, who doesn't like something that looks good? She's young. She's a pretty young thing. Let's just be for real, you know? So
okay, but let's not do that thing. I understand what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah, her name
the song is good. The song is good, yes, of course.
The song is good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough. I don't know if I agree with the Academy's idea that song passed the 51%, but my dear, each to their own.
Really?
That, like, they sat and they decided that is fine.
I think it does. In a lot of ways, it does.
To me, Sha, so for my ear, like, I love R&B, I love pop. Like, that's my first love. Those are the songs I listen to first, and then Afrobeats, whenever it came into my life. Yeah. So I literally, like, my first love, and I just don't feel, me personally, Sha, I feel like it leans more to the pop and the R&B side. Before
more than Afrobeats or Amapiano.
Yeah, before I heard that,
it's there, but it's not before that.
Drums.
The drums are literally, like, you can hear.
It literally goes.
You can hear the Afrobeat bass and then the Amapiano log drums.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, the Afrobeats bass is pretty much what the lead, like, percussion is, and then you're hearing some supports of, like, you know what I mean, the log drums that are evident from Amapiano, and then now, yeah, we can see a lot of the language or the feel of it to be R&B and pop as well. It's a mix of everything, but I think Afrobeats is in the forefront. Amapiano is in the forefront before it's R&B and pop lean, in my opinion. But
if you're still in denial that monies are always being exchanged during the lead up to these ceremonies, you're doing yourself a huge emotional injustice, right? Money is definitely exchanged. Hands are rubbed, backs are scratched to get the intended results that they want. At the end of the day, what you're trying to build, legacy. Music is a business. In Victoria Monet's speech yesterday, she mentioned you can look at the music business as soil, which was so art and beautiful. I love her to death. You can look at it as a dirty thing that you don't want to get involved with, or you can look at it as soil to, like, you know, grow whatever musical talents that God has given you, whatever the case may be. But the honest truth is, it is a business, and people pay to get the desired results that they want to get. That is a fact. There's no honesty in half of those votes. Gracey kind of alluded, I don't know if she should have said, but part of the Academy members are asking their kids, oh, what's popular now? Or someone slips you a $10,000 check and tells you, oh, please vote my way. Or
in a Universal Music building, there must have been a memo and circular saying this is how we're going to divide ourselves this year. We want Taylor to bring on the fourth album of the year type of thing. Like, okay, for example, album of the year. Taylor comes to the event the same way, of course. Trevor gives you the whole prequel to the whole thing that's about to happen. She's going to be the first to win album of the year 4 times. They did the same exact thing for Beyonce and then slapped her in her face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to recognize. You have to.
You know what's so funny about what you're saying is that
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you learn in life is that regardless of what sort of organization you're in, there's what is meant to happen and then there's what actually happens. So
Exactly.
I don't necessarily agree and say, oh, they are definitely bribing people, because the Grammys have put out the memos and have banned people for receiving money.
Belema,
For being
Belema,
so
Belema.
if there are things that are there, that's like something that exists. Great. It's very
Exactly.
interesting because one of the people that you mentioned is Mac Miller. And one of the saddest things that I remember watching the Grammys was when Mac Miller got nominated for a Grammy. I think it was it was either a year or 2 years after he died. He got nominated for a Grammy. And the Grammys did something that I felt was the most despicable thing I had ever witnessed in my entire life. Mac Miller had never won a Grammy, and they nominated him. I think he had been nominated before, but he had never won. So they nominated him, but he was dead. So they flew out his entire family. Very weird moments I've ever witnessed, because why did he fly these people out here to come and see their son lose? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Exactly. Which is why, and you just summed it up beautifully well. I don't think you disagree with me. I just think, and you said something when you were about talking, like there's a difference between what is and what you expect. And I'm just highlighting the fact that what is a terrible, terrible, dirty game that people, you don't want to acknowledge it, but it is there. And that is just the honest. Yesterday, Taylor, with all confidence, announces on stage her new album and everything. And you start seeing things, tweets like, oh, they know who's boss because she pays for the awards every year, or her music catalog, and her fans pay for majority of all the publishings that these music labels are getting. And then you see a couple of years ago, they cut Drake off when he was saying the exact same thing that Jay-Z was saying yesterday. And I dare you to cut Jay-Z off. No, like, seriously, try.
But just real quick on the note of Maida's contribution, or on the entire conversation that we've had so far, because we had Gracey earlier. I don't know how long you've listened to Lakbo, but appreciate you for being up here. The Lakbo, for context, I think you is a voting member of the Academy as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? You're a voting member?
No, I'm a professional
member. That's why I was okay, got it. But yes, yeah, bro, thank you so much for covering up. I'm glad that we have two voices in that space as well to be contributing to the conversation. So how would you, I don't know, just based on what you heard from at least Midas, what he has said about how the game is being played, quote unquote, how do you feel about his submission?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
I don't want to hinge what I want to say specifically on what Maida said, so I just want to talk in general, maybe respond to a few things he said, but not make that the whole thing.
Right.
First of all, context. There's like the academy has. I joined a year ago, so it's not like I've been there for a long time, but I know a few things about how it works. There's voting members, and then there's professional members. Professional members are like execs, label people, people who work in the industry but are not exactly like creators, or who did not apply as creators at least. And voting members are people who actually make music, produce, engineer, and have like credits on a number of releases. I think there's a minimum amount of releases you have to be credited on as a creator to actually even qualify to apply. So professional members can submit songs to be nominated, can also advocate for rule changes, new categories, and things like that. But in the awards process, beyond submitting songs or albums to be considered, professional members don't participate in the process any further. So once you submit and the window closes, and then they now start the actual process of selecting the songs that will get nominated. So there's like a first round of voting, then the actual voting after nominations happen. All those are done by voting members who are musicians, producers, engineers, people who actually make music. I think that's important context for people to have, because I didn't know this before I joined, and it just paints a picture of who exactly decides who wins a Grammy or who doesn't. Like these people are actually music makers.
And just to add to that point, Noso Amadi as well is a voting member. So Noso is a producer, artist, and so it's essentially connects to what the Black Boy is adding to.
Makes sense. So one other thing that I have noticed in the under 1 year of being there is that there actually is some lobbying that goes on, but it happens, from at least in my experience, from what I've seen, it happens as like an external level and an individual level. So I've had people find me, for instance, on social media, like people that are maybe Americans or people who have even won Grammy several times. Like you read their bio and you see they've been nominated 10 times. They're an engineer or they're a producer or a jazz artist. Very random people that our paths would never have crossed come into my DMs to say stuff like, "Oh, have I submitted stuff yet? Like, do I want to consider submitting their shit?" And if I'm also pushing for any artist or whatever, I could also let them know, and then they'll support as well. So that's another thing that I have noticed. Another context to have.
Lobbying. That's textbook lobbying. Yeah.
That's like what it is.
Yeah, people have these conversations and sort of find people and get support and all of that. Now, in terms of in the actual process of submissions to voting, to nominations, to final voting, is there a group of people that actually sit down and say, "Oh, this year, this is the agenda we want to push"? Officially, I don't think so. I mean, there's no facts that it can't be substantiated that exists. But is the academy made up of human beings who know each other and actually have conversations with each other? Yes. So that means that if I am an active member of the academy and I'm maybe, because now I'm in the New York chapter, for instance, say I contest for a role within the New York chapter and I become like an exco, people know me and I know people and I start attending all the meetings, I start going to the physical events.
Right.
And I know people in the academy. If I'm popular within the academy, then I can influence the people
a lot
who are
more.
Voting,
Right.
Just the same way any society, association, or group of people, anything like that functions. It's not foolproof from influence and the impact of popularity and just like having access to all those people and being able to convince them to follow your agenda. So that is like the same thing that happened. Like, there's no way you're gonna completely eliminate that sort of thing from any system that's made of humans.
I have a question for you, because I think that is something that a lot of people think is against the law. Like when I'm saying that people were canvassing for Tyla, clearly people were canvassing for Tyla. So I think there's this thing, and I know the Grammys has a rule spelled out about it. I don't know if you can confirm like the specifics of it, but there's nowhere in the Grammys where it says you cannot lobby. What it says should not happen is exchange of money. I believe that's the correct.
I'm not going to, like, I don't know what the rule says verbatim, so I'm just not gonna cap. But I know that if you come into my DMs to tell me privately to vote for some. Like, it's not like I'm going to, it's not like I'm publicly doing it, right? It's like
Right.
Emmanuel is my guy. If I DM Emmanuel and I say, yo, this artist though, I beg, may we vote for him. Like, is Emmanuel gonna go report me to the Grammys and say, like,
no, but that's part of lobbying.
Exactly.
And
no, my point is like,
what you're meant
you
to
can't,
do. That's what
like, my point is like, that's normal. Like, you can't eliminate one-to-one conversations that would inevitably happen, especially because some of the people in the academy have been there for years and they know each other.
You can't be requesting people's call logs. Okay, who called you today? How many people did you speak to today?
Exactly. Like, so it's just like politics. Like,
yeah, it's exactly that. And I think that's the problem, is that some people are confusing lobbying with something that is not meant to happen.
People are confusing lobbying with like
with bribing,
with the results,
with bribery,
literally bribery and corruption.
There's obviously, it could be happening, it may not be happening. There's really no way to know unless you're directly involved in the compilation of votes. And
Darko, sorry to interrupt you real quick. This constant denial that we have that there's no bribery is part of the problem.
I don't think that was a denial.
Emmanuel, I don't mean it's part of the problem that you're trying to seek a change. It's a conspiracy theory that you should not exist.
It's not denial. Why should I? Denial is not the term here.
Just let me finish the statement. If people in the music business are telling you, and you are saying that you don't know, and it's a theory.
Who are the people in the music business? Aren't we all in the music business?
Oh my God! If Jay-Z is alluding to it on stage, so who are you? Like, think about the context here. If Jay-Z is alluding to it on stage, then who are you?
Jay-Z say people were.
Wait. So Jay-Z's speech was saying they were bribing.
No,
he said the young lady.
Wait, just hold on.
Jay-Z's talking about that young lady.
That's why I said so many things are involved in this thing, right? That's where you know that even popularity past popularity. I don't just want to mention like excos and everything that are involved at this. That's why I mentioned.
Bro, mention like if what you're saying isn't
that's why I mentioned. That's why I mentioned a company like Universal, right? These are people with publishing rights and only God knows how many sync licenses of half of that room. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, if the Grammys are coming up, we want so and so artists to break a certain record. You're trying to tell me that will not happen, or when they tell you before the beginning of the ceremony that tonight something will happen, and that it may happen, and it happens. They are telling you what they will do in their face, and they are doing it. It's almost like saying, "I'll kill this dog," and they kill it, and you're still telling me that, "Oh no, maybe he sickness, maybe cold from Africa." What are we doing? Accept the truth in your heart. If you get it, you get it. I'm not saying that they have to admit it publicly. I'm not telling you that the Grammys will come out and admit it tomorrow publicly and say, "Oh, we've been cheating for the past 50 years." Oh, I'm not saying we want that.
So can we
then you know it in your heart, and then
Midas, can we settle it here for this moment that you are of the opinion that yes, there's bribery going on, and some other people are of the opinion that there might be bribery going on, but I don't know for sure.
Exactly. It's not denial.
It's
not denial.
Actually,
Midas,
it's not worthy of a back and forth.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, honestly, it's not worthy of.
It's not worthy.
Like, you don't need to be throwing
because there's no actual. There's nothing to.
Because legit, what dollar?
There's no. There's no BBC Eye. There's no BBC Eye documentary now that has come out.
So it's like if you say it, bring proof, and if you cannot bring proof, what you are telling me now becomes a speculation, and then you can say, okay, I believe that there's bribery in the Grammys. And so a couple years ago, somebody that was on the voting committee for the Grammys made a comment that I can't remember what his name was.
Okay, guys, let's start transitioning.
Yeah, we're about to transition, but he made this very funny comment, right? And he said that he voted for somebody specifically in a category, right? And when they asked him, why did you vote for this person? He said that that person's party was the only people that approached me. So I voted for him. That was it. Like, it's as simple as that. The other people, when they were canvassing, they didn't reach his doorstep.
And we've been saying this time and time again. I think the primary judge of what it is that actually like gets your nomination across the line to win it's based on how much you are actually like campaigning your nomination, like how much effort you're putting into it. Like, bottom line, Gracey has alluded to that. That Delacroix has definitely reinforced it as well. I'm sure once we speak to Dr. Amadi, he's going to reinforce it as well. It's clear.
Let me just say one final thing, Emmanuel, that I think is super important before we switch the conversation to a different topic. I think that we have the habit of talking a lot. Like Nigerians, when these sorts of things happen, like we have a lot of conversations and we just go off. Like yesterday, people said different things. Oh, why did they play Fela's song instead of Tyla's song? And that became a thing. All sorts of absurd things. But the key takeaway from here is that applications to join the academy are currently open. How many people have actually applied? But that's like
for sure.
Will you pay like $200
without having any substantial
Beverly is looking for
output.
a sponsor.
For sure.
I'm looking for what is it, reference?
She's looking for a sponsor basically.
What we actually should do is break down the process of applying and let people understand how it works while it is open now, so more people from here can apply. And then you can actually get in and know what exactly happens and start to build your own circle of influence. And in 5-10 years, you can actually also be canvassing.
Yes, exactly.
Emmanuel,
anything short of that is just like we're just waffling. If we actually aren't doing anything.
A lot of Nigerians apply to Harvard and MIT every year. And how many people that get into is left up to... No, Belma, I just think...
I'm actually wholeheartedly begging you.
So, I wanted to talk about the, obviously, Burna performance. I felt like On Form was a very good song selection for that kind of event. I think, that was good. But I think obviously because of Brandy and 21 Savage, that's why he probably did Sitting on Top of the World, but it just didn't blend the way that I wanted it to blend. It was a good performance. Like, you can never have a bad Burna performance, but I felt like he could have showed more, but probably it was limited down to time. But he did well. I do think, again, with the nominations itself and, both of them, going back to back with each other. I'm happy that it's a lesson learned that you can never, no matter how big you feel you are, there's someone that's always going to see a different perspective, whether you agree with it or not.
Grammy is investing in the entire evening, the entire show, right? They will market it naturally. This is inevitable, regardless of whoever it is that they are having to come up. So the fact that they had a new category give them opportunity to even further market that, because if you pull back away from everything Grammys, at the end of the day, they still want to be they still want to have a good reputation as well, and they try in a lot of ways to appease everybody in their, even though it's impossible, they try their way to seem, or at least to come off inclusive, right? Hence this introduction even of an African music performance. Like, it's part of that campaign. If you even see when they were talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict, you can see that they were even bringing up points that, hey, we even have an African person, we have this person in every region. We're trying to like really cover all grounds in terms of like music, unity and everything. So if you take a step back beyond our Nigerian bubble and look at the whole thing, like they're trying to pander to everybody, is my point. Like they're pandering to everybody in a way to make it look like, at the end of the day, they're milking whichever form of like goodwill that they've done in every front. Okay, be it the Latin, be it the Asian, be it the every front, they will make a lot of noise about it. But from proximity, we're going to see the ones that we care about. So it looks like it's only Davido that they're talking about the entire time. Meanwhile, that's who we're paying attention to. We are not going to care when they're doing a whole expose on an Indian jazz musician. We won't care for any of those. Like, we won't care for even the person that performed. What's his name? At the end of the day, they're trying to make everybody happy.
Can I say something that I think is very interesting, right? So that video that they made of Davido, they made that same video of Coil Ray.
Yeah.
They also made that same video of Coco Jones. They also, that video that they made of Burna Boy, they also made the same video of Billie Eilish. They made the same video of Dua Lipa. They made the same video of Olivia Rodrigo. They made the same video of Miley Cyrus. They made the same video of Travis Scott. They make the same video of Luke Combs. I think the problem here is that when you think you are the center of the attention,
yes,
you make yourself the center of the attention.
Yes.
So because they are talking about somebody that you know and care about, all of a sudden you feel they are pushing it to you.
Yes.
They are not pushing anything to you that was not already there.
Right.
You are just seeing what you need to see.
Okay.
So that's the key issue there. So when you say, oh well, it feels like they are doing this and we're the British people in this and we're all of that, it's like the British people didn't even make it to the nomination, because like we learned earlier, each category has a group. So now if all the British rappers submitted their albums for hip hop album or whatever, right? If the people that were the tastemakers or whatever that in charge of that category look through all the hip hop albums that were submitted and say only these 5 American albums are the ones that make sense to us, it does not mean that, like, that is literally the choice that has been made.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think trying to center yourself in somebody else's story
and
is a lot more about you than it does about them.
And can I also add another thing? If even from the logistics standpoint, if they really wanted to, would I say, exploit their Nigerian audience, I'm sorry, they're doing all our categories, at least the categories that we care for, were in the premiere ceremony, right? These are not televised. These are not slapped in between with left-right multi-corporate ads to actually milk and make money from. So if I wanted to draw anybody's attention or really milk their audience, I would do so and have their categories in the main event, in the main ceremony, where I can actually make a lot more from the extra eyeballs from there. And another aspect to add to that is that this is a very much an American award, right? Yes, we have Prime that works in some settings, but at the end of the day, it's all local television that you have to watch in order to get proper viewership. Any other rating that you're adding to this is illegal, my brother. Like it's not actually going to get into their pockets at the end of the day. So there's not much incentive behind focusing just on the Nigerian audience and say, oh, they're using us for clout. They're using us for they're using this artist to they're wagging this Grammy in our faces to attract us and then dump us. I don't think. Well, if that's the case, I think they do that for everybody. Is my point. Essentially, we're not special in that regard. Of like that, they're just making it based on Nigerian artists because they've seen that Nigerian artists they are able to mobile people and get more eyeballs on our shows for more ratings. I don't think that's the case. I just think like it was a very active music year. Their ratings went up because of the activity that came out of the year musically. So there was a lot of like build up to this, and they've done their own groundwork and being able to market it across all their boards. This is not even me trying to cap for Grammys. This is what they've been doing every year. This year was just a better one. Hence why we saw like I think a 34% jump in their local ratings, by the way. Local ratings. Like this is all within America. So we're not even in the metric system to actually give them that much value that we're putting on ourselves. If my point is being made.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Also,
prefer to sorry. Sorry.
did they really use Nigerians, or did we just talk about it so much to the point that it became annoying? Like, the thing is that if they want to use anybody for ratings, Taylor Swift is there. That girl,
Right?
she is the owner of
Right
White
there.
Girls.
That's them.
And then the population of the diaspora, like Nigerian diaspora, is a drop in a bucket compared to what a Taylor Swift can garner for Grammys. Like, me watching it on my Instagram is really not going to do anything for the Grammys ratings. Like, if I watch it on where else, like, it's not going to do anything for the, like, the only thing I can say that okay they might have done or they could have done is use Nigerians to like prop up the like Grammy discourse pre-Grammy on social media. And the thing is that Nigerian Twitter is not that influential outside Africa. So like sometimes when you say some things, I feel like you should also put like reasoning behind it. Like, we're a drop in the bucket. Like, if they wanted to garner views, like, they've already made sure everybody knows that Taylor Swift is coming. Or they've hinted that okay, maybe she might do this. Me, before she came, I already knew that this girl will either drop a video or something. And that's just me.
She make a big announcement, which she did.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. So if Stacey in her house is like, oh my God, Taylor is gonna be at the Grammys, I have to watch
Very
it.
good impression.
Like, that is going to give them views, not you thinking Burna Boy is going to come and perform. Like, all the videos, I manage social media for a music company, right? Like, all those videos that you saw, I posted them, and they did it for a lot of other artists in other countries, in other categories. Like, there wasn't like, not that I'm saying that like Nigeria is irrelevant or anything, but it was not like drawn out or anything like that. Tyla was nominated in South Africa. They talked about it though, but if you're on South African Twitter, it wasn't like the main topic. Davido was nominated or whatever, and that became like a trolling point. Whiskey people, da, 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 da. So like, if you're hearing about it constantly, and Whiskey FC and Burna Boy people are making fun of Davido and da, 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 that becomes like, oh, Grammys is a big topic in Nigeria. Like, we're the ones that were marketing it for them. Basically, they didn't say,
You've
oh,
chosen to center yourself in somebody else's story.
yeah.
You're wondering why you feel centered.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't a purpose, like they didn't purposely like do anything to center Nigerians. They didn't say, oh, Nigerians come and what, like, we have the Nigerian diaspora abroad, but like, how, like, what is the value of the viewership? Like, you understand?
Again, to respond to Miss what, okay, I'm not going to pronounce that, but the person that spoke a while back, the truth of the matter is, yeah, you made some very valid points, right? But please don't ever undermine the power that Nigerians have on social media. Please don't do that. I get Taylor Swift is big and all that, but I'm telling you, the power that we Nigerians have on this space, this social media space, is big. As you can see, the most liked or interacted tweets from Guinness Book of Records is due to Nigerians. You have seen how Nigerians have been very, very influential in this AFCON. We're beating countries and we're invading their spaces. To be very honest, you don't know how insane Nigerians can go. I'm telling you, you have seen.
Pixel, I actually don't disagree with you. But my question is that, is it not because we like to center ourselves where...
Yeah, very, very true. We're very proudful. And sometimes we shoot ourselves on the leg. That to be very honest, you're very right. That's why I said that she's not totally wrong. But I don't want it to look like Taylor Swift can drag more traffic for Grammys if Nigerians are not. I really
I don't think they listen to what I said.
Pixel, I understand.
I don't think they listen to what I said.
So just to add, and this is not even a don't undermine Nigeria like clouds kind of thing. I understand where what is informing that. Trust me, I do. But at the end of the day, the way ad revenues, the way the logistics around how a lot of these companies, not just Grammys, it's the same thing on YouTube. The value in an American viewer, the value in an American listener it's not anywhere comparable, right? It's not in anywhere comparable to what they can actually like what they can actually feed their pockets as a show that is being televised in the US, right? So there's not much
Nigerians have social currency. Like,
yes,
I don't think,
of course we do.
Have a lot
Of course, yeah. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of putting out a show like this or putting out an event like this, right? It's not in any way as clearly valuable as an American viewer is, and we are not. The diaspora presence for Nigerians there is not. It's not to the point where he's swaying things for them.
Can I speak?
Hold on.
Can I speak, please?
Hold on, House.
Yes.
Hold on, House. Real fast. I think there's something that is happening here, and you guys need to understand what everybody is saying, right? So the social currency and the noise of Nigerians will forever and always be powerful. That is not up for debate, right? That is not something that is a conversation starter. The issue here is something that it's taught in school. There's a difference between how you calculate return on investment on advertisements versus return on investment on PR, right? There are two different ways you calculate this. They are not calculated the same way because they don't give you the same thing, right? And so what you are describing, Pixel, is how loud we get and how that voice impacts the things around us. The problem here is that is not a return of investment, like Emmanuel is saying, that like monetarily benefits them. It amplifies, it does not benefit. The problem with Nigerians as a whole, and this is the problem when I say we center ourselves, even in things that are not about us, is that we center ourselves when they did not ask us to center ourselves, and then we ask for reward for centering ourselves where they did not ask us to center ourselves.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Yeah, I think it's important to have healthy conversations, of course, like this. And but we wanted to leave you guys. Sorry, we wanted to leave you guys with a note, of course, that Belema will help us with.
I think note sounds very stern.
Okay, sounds very stern, yeah.
I would say it's something that I find is very interesting because this was another space where it was like, I think at the beginning you said something, I said something, we could not agree on it.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, I think like we both had one opinion. A lot of people on the space had different opinions. And it was very clear that like, obviously with a forum like this, people will never have the same opinion. So in the hours, obviously we're recording this like a few hours after the space, several hours after the space. So I find it very interesting that like a lot has transpired since then. Yeah. Oh, you let this person come on your space and give this opinion. Yeah. You let that person give that opinion. Yeah. This is a disclaimer and I guess an actual note to say any and all are welcome. If you feel like you've heard something and you don't agree with it, come refute that person. Yeah. Come say it to that person's face. I think that's what makes it healthy, is like being able to go back and forth. Yeah. And sometimes the beauty of it is that sometimes you end up on the same page.
Yep.
A lot of times you don't end up on the same page, but you are able to share it. So I think that's the biggest disclaimer, is that if you feel like your voice is not being heard, come speak up. I think it's very unfair to only have one side of a story.
Yep.
But it is also unfair to think you can force people to share their side of the story. So I think like that's a disclaimer that needs to be put out, that like if you ever find that an opinion offended you or pushed you the wrong way or anything, come up.
Yeah, like
come tell us what you think.
Exactly. Come tell us what you think. If somebody you think says something that is a lie or is false, please come and present your own form of rebuttal or evidence to refute that lie. So it would be helpful to have those conversations as well. So we are always open to those conversations. Our DMs are somewhat open as well. I say in my I'll say in my DMs. Like, put it on me. Put it on me. Yes, my DMs are somewhat open.
DMs.
Okay, yeah.
My
Please
DMs.
don't.
You might sleep there. I'm sorry.
Anyway, but I'm just saying that to say, like, we have a lot of industry, like, when I say acquaintances or friends or like people that we kind of have some form of relationship with. So yes, we can always reach out to, if you're in the industry as well, you can always reach out to us, which we are very, very open to hear from everyone. Okay, so if you want a platform on the space, let us know, and then it's something that we'll process. Okay, and then yeah, for sure, like, it's an open book at the end of the day. And I hope you guys have fun listening to the space, as it should be. We're not here to cut off anybody's heads.
Congratulations to Tyla.
Congratulations to all the winners, including Tyla, of course.
Especially
Tyla. Yes, it's not Wednesday yet as the time we're recording this, so we're hoping Osimhen and Lookman and their mans can help us have some form of dignity after this, you know. No, Nigerians, we embarrass ourselves after, post, or pre. We embarrass ourselves with this Grammy season. So
good luck to everybody.
Good luck to everybody, man. And hope to catch you guys next week or in the next episode. Thank you guys. Peace. Bye. All right. Okay.